Good morning, everyone. We begin our 10 a.m. Eastern Time hour with the top story here. A major break in the hunt for one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. An arrest has been made in connection with the Gilgo Beach murders on New York's Long Island. And we now know who the suspect is. Welcome, everyone, to a brand new hour of National Report. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emma Reckenberg.
And I'm John Glasgow in for Sean Kreisman today. We're now getting reports that the suspect is in custody. It's a 59-year-old New York City architect named Rex Howerman. He reportedly lives on Long Island, not far from the beach where these bodies were found. At least 10 people, all believed to be sex workers, whose bodies were found scattered along a busy stretch of the ocean beach. Some of the victims were dismembered and put in trash bags, all of them dumped in a marshy area covered in thick brush.
So this investigation began 13 years ago when a woman named Shannon Gilbert vanished after meeting a local man who supposedly paid her for sex. She made a frantic 911 call saying someone was trying to kill her and was never heard from again. Her mother then pushed police to launch a search operation, but several other bodies were found before Gilbert's, which was eventually discovered nearby. Investigators found several more bodies after Gilbert was found as well, and they're all believed to be linked together. There have been several movies and documentaries made about the case that dates back to 2010. For more on this, let's welcome in retired NYPD Captain John Monaghan. Sir, welcome, and thanks for coming on. This is quite a development now in this case. A multi-agency task force was established in February of 2022, including the FBI, New York State Police, Suffolk County authorities to reinvigorate the investigation. How do you think law enforcement finally broke the case, which led them, at least at this point, to a suspect?
You know, the first thing that comes to mind is Rodney Harrison. I think he should get a lot of credit. You know, he was the chief of the department in the NYPD, recently became the police commissioner in Suffolk. And one of the first things he did was form a task force to solve this crime. When you reinvigorate an investigation like that, it leads to a conclusion like this. So I think Rodney Harrison, police commissioner out there, he should get a lot of the credit. You know, you mentioned how the Gilgo Beach murders has been played up, documentaries and such. One of my favorite authors, if you enjoy fiction, a good thriller, Nelson DeMille, he's a great author. I've read all of his works. He recently put out a work of fiction, but often his fiction is based on real events. It was called The Maze. And I have to tell you, you know, a few years ago, the former police commissioner in Suffolk, he was engaged in some nefarious activities, and there was some enforcement taken against him and some of his cohorts. And it was largely rumored that he had a hand in this. And I'm so glad that this is finally put to rest. Even Nelson DeMille's novel touched on the idea of high-ranking members of the Suffolk County PD being involved in this, and it's just such nonsense. And I'm really glad that this has been brought to a conclusion. I mean, the guy was an architect, for God's sake.
Yeah. John, this case, John, a lot of public attention over the years since the human remains were found along the New York Beach Highway more than a decade ago. There's a news conference this afternoon. What do you expect to hear? And maybe what do you think linked them to this suspect? It just seems so odd that they have somebody so quickly and now this news conference that we're expecting this afternoon.
You know what? We don't know that yet, but I can tell you typically when something goes on for this length of time, the evidence is in. It's not like they went out and found something else. I'm going to guess someone came forward with some information. You know, sometimes people know things they don't realize is relative. I'm going to guess that someone came forward with a piece of information. I doubt it was a discovery of physical evidence.
That's a really,
but we'll see.
Yeah, a really interesting point, and hopefully we might learn more because, you know, we were just showing the victims, and you think about the families of the victims who've now gone years without answers as to who might have done this horrendous act to a loved one. Do you think now there could be closure for the victims' families?
Oh, yeah, for them, let's hope. Let's hope. You know, I said before, I'm grateful that there's closure as far as, you know, the suspicion surrounding this serious events. But for the families, yeah, let's hope. Let's hope. That's an individual case by case, of course, but it's been a long time for some of them. But I'm sure this will bring them some extra peace, yeah.
Okay, absolutely. All right. Well, hope to learn more also from this press conference. Again, this major development, now a suspect in custody in connection with the murders from years ago. John Monaghan, thank you very much for picking up our call today and joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.